Okay, guys, you should have this worksheet, and it has 1 through 6 on the front and 7 through 10 on the back. So we're going to start with number 1, and we're going to do it together. So it says, which of the answer choices have the same solution as the counters? So there's two ways to do this. You can either count the counters that are positive, count the counters that are negative, and match it to your answer choices. Or we can mark out the 0 pairs, get the answer, and see which of our answer choices have that same answer. Okay, so I'm going to show you both ways. So if we count the positives, we have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9 positive, which should automatically take answer choice D off because it says -9. Okay, and then if we count the negative counters, there are 1, 2, 3, 4, which should automatically mark out C. And then if we look at A, it should mark out A, because if we're subtracting, we have to KAO, which means keep, and add the opposite. And the opposite of negative is positive, which would mean it's a positive 4. So automatically our answer should be B. And then if you solve it, 9 minus 4 is 5. And then if we mark out our 0 pairs, we are left with 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 positive, which would be correct. So our answer is B. So you go ahead and try number 2 on your own. Okay, if you did number 2, you should mark out our 0 pairs. We're left with -3, which means we had 2 positive, which means that A has to go. And then we have 5 negatives, which means that B has to go. And then if we add the opposite, so does D. So our answer should be C. And 2 minus 5 is -3. Okay? Alright, now we're going to look at 3 and 4. We're going to do 3 together, and you're going to do 4 on your own. So number 3, if you look at it, this was like number 2 on your check-in. And if you remember us discussing this briefly, we said the biggest place we messed up was we did not flip. Okay, so if you remember with inequalities, the variable has to be on the left-hand side. So we must flip. So what that means is we're going to put the variable, which is n, on the left side, our number on the right, and then you can either do the pointy nose, Rudolph the Red-Nosed Reindeer, however you remember it, and the point is towards the end, so keep the point there. Or if you can remember that if we flip the number and the variable, then we have to flip our sign. So if we're pointing to the right, we now want to point to the left. Okay, and don't forget your equal to. So now we have to ask ourselves, open or close circle. And if we say close, we are correct because it is an equal to. And if we're equal to 2, that means we include 2. So we want to mark out A and B. And now we just have to say, do we go to the left or to the right? And if we draw our arrow, you should see that we're going to the left. So D should be our answer. Okay, you try number 4 on your own. Okay, so if for number 4 you got an answer of D, you would be correct, because if we flip, because our variable is not on the left and it has to be, we put C here, -3 here. We're pointing to -3, so we want to keep pointing to -3, and so that would mean greater than or equal to. Equal to means closed circle, and the greater than means to the right, because there's our arrow to the right. Okay, now I want you to do number 5 and number 6 on your own. Okay, for number 5, if you chose C, you would be correct, because it says Greta's Boutique charges a constant rate of shipping of $5.95. So a constant rate of shipping means no matter what you order, you're going to be charged $5.95. Okay, so if a customer made a purchase that totaled $20.57, that means the total checkout purchase was $20.57. We want to know which equation, which means it's going to be equal, and they all are, would show the price of the item. So we're going to have a shipping of $5.95 plus whatever else we buy. So shipping is always added. Okay, and then for number 6, your answer should have been B, because when we have integers, if we're not already adding, we must KAO, which means keep and add the opposite. So that means keep 7, add instead of subtract, and the opposite of negative 6 would be positive 6. So 7 plus 6 would be the same as B. Okay? Alright, let's flip over to number 7 through 10. We're going to start with number 7, and we're going to do it together. Now, you had one like this on your check-in, and in my opinion, these are the hardest problems, or this was the hardest problem that I saw. So it says A is the opposite of 24. The letters are spaced equally. What number does letter B represent? So if A is the opposite of 24, what would the opposite of 24 be? If you said negative 24, you're correct. Now, when I look at these, I immediately go, okay, there's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 jumps. So 24 divided by 6 is 4. But that is not correct, because we have to know the distance between negative 24 and positive 24, because that's the distance that we're looking at. So if I were to draw a number line, and I'm not going to number them all out, but if it was negative 24, 0, and then positive 24, from 0 to negative 24, how many jumps would there be? 24. But then from 0 to a positive 24, there are also 24 jumps. So altogether, there is a distance of 48, because 24 plus 24 is 48. So then you have to say 48 divided by our 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 sections would mean there are 8 jumps between each section. So we would need to say 24 minus 8 is 16. 16 minus 8 is 8. 8 minus 8 is 0. 0 minus 8 is negative 8. Negative 8 minus 8 is negative 16. So if we want to know the number that B represents, B would be negative 16. So our answer should be A. You go ahead and do number 8. Okay, looking at number 8, if you got an answer of C, you would be correct, because L is the opposite of 15, which means negative 15. There are 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 jumps between negative 15 and 15, or 5 sections. The distance from negative 15 to 15 would be 30, because 15 to 0 would be 15, and negative 15 to 0 would be 15. And 15 plus 15 is 30. So if we divide that by our 5 sections, we should get 6 spots in between. So 15 minus 6 is 9. 9 minus 6 is 3. 3 minus 6 is negative 3. Negative 3 minus 6 is negative 9. Okay, so if we're looking for the number where n is negative 3. Okay, and last but not least, we're going to look at number 9 and number 10. So number 9 says rectangle HIJK was drawn on a coordinate plane and had an area of 25 units squared. J has the same x coordinate as H. What is the smallest y coordinate of that K could be? I think is what that's supposed to say. So I want to know, what's the smallest y that K could be if they have the same x coordinate as H and I? So to create our rectangle, we need 2 more points. Okay? And they're going to have the same y coordinate as the points here. So this coordinate's going to have the same y coordinate as I, and whatever coordinate goes here is going to have the same as H. Okay? So if we want the smallest y coordinate, that would mean x is the same. So we're going to have some, either J or K, that's going to go under or above H. Okay? But if we're going to be the smallest, don't you think we need to go under h? Yes, I agree. So h is at x coordinate of 3. So we need to see from 0 to 5, where can I be so that my area is 25 units squared? So if I count here, I have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So I need to know for area, I have to do base times height. So 5 times what would give me 25? In other words, 25 divided by 5 is equal to what? If you said 5, that would be correct. So that means we need to go down 5, because smallest would mean we want a small number. So if we go down 5 from h, that would be 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. That would land us here. So if the height was 5 and the base is 5, that would mean 5 times 5 is 25. So that would be our area. So we would have to be at 0, okay? And then if we connected it here, this one would also be at a y of 0. Our y-axis is here. So that means we wouldn't move up y. We would just go to 3 and go to 8 and stay at 0. And if we connected this together, we do in fact have an area of 25, because 5 times 5 is 25. And if we counted them, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20, 21, 22, 23, 24, 25. So our smallest y-coordinate would have to be 0. Okay? You try number 10 on your own. And pay attention to the wording. Okay? This says rectangle PQRS was drawn on a coordinate plane and had an area of 8 units squared. R has the same x-coordinate as Q. What is the largest the y-coordinate of S could be? So this time we're looking for the largest. So for us to have an area of 8, let's see how long PQ is. It's 1, 2, 3, 4. So 4 times what would give me 8? Because area is base times height. So if this is our base, we need to know what our height can be. So if you said 4 times 2 is 8, that means do we need to go up or down for the largest? If you said up, you're correct. And we need to go up 2 units. So we're going to go up 2 from P, because they're going to have the same x-coordinate as Q. Okay? So we can go up from P or up from Q. If we go up 2, that's going to give us the heights we need, right? Because they're making a rectangle. So what x-coordinate are we on? We're on 5. So our points would be here and here. So that would mean our largest y-coordinate would have to be 5. And if we counted the area, we would go 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, which is correct because 4 times 2, and I got that by counting 4 here and counting 2 here, is 8. Okay, please take this paper front and back, make sure your name's on it, and place it in the bin on the table at the front of the classroom.